Please make sure you've got a pen and paper ready to take notes. Remember, you could rewind at any point and listen again if you need to. There will be places where I ask you to pause and do an activity. Please make sure you mark your work, take a picture and send it to your teacher. Here are your starter questions. If you can pause the video, have a go at these questions please, and press play when you're ready to check their answers. Here are the solutions. So core knowledge 1, you will need this skill today. So expanding first and then simplifying. So we do 5 times x to get 5x, 5 times 2 to get 10, 2 times 4x to get 8x, and 2 times by 1 to get 2. Then we need to put our x's together. So 5x add 8x to make 13x, and 10 add 2 to make 12. Factorising. Remember, that means to put into brackets. So we look at the numbers and we can take out the biggest thing we can divide both 12 and 9 by. So the highest common factor, which is 3. So we put 3 on the outside. We ask ourselves, what do we times by 3 to make 12x? So 3 times 4x, we need to write 4x on the inside. And what do we times by 3 to make 9? So we write a 3 on the inside. So the answer is 3 brackets, 4x plus 3, close brackets. Okay, solve. Remember, that means we've got to find the value of the unknown. So this is an equation where we're trying to solve it to find the value of x. First things first, we need to expand those brackets. So 4 times 3x to get 12x, and 4 times by 2 to get 8. So 12x plus 8 equals 14. Because it's a plus 8, we need to subtract 8 from our 14. So 12x equals 6. Something times by 12 has given us the answer 6. So because we're timesing something by 12 and the answer is smaller, the answer is 6, we know x is going to be something less than 1. So we need to do 6 divided by 12 and get the answer 0.5. If you've got the answer 2, you've done 12 divided by 6. So just watch out if you've done 6 divided by 12 to get x equals 0.5. Recent recall, which we've done recently, is solving linear inequalities. So we have an inequality sign. 3x plus 5 is greater than or equal to minus 4. We solve it the same as we would an equation. Because it's a plus 5, we need to subtract 5 from the minus 4. So minus 4 minus another 5 takes you down to minus 9. Something times by 3 gives you the answer of minus 9. So we need to divide minus 9 by 3 to get the answer of minus 3. So x is greater than or equal to minus 3. Today's lesson is on identities and equating coefficients. So identities and coefficients might be 2 keywords that you're not sure of. Identities, and we're going to explain on the next slide. A coefficient is a number in front of an unknown. So if we've got, for example, 2x, the 2 would be the coefficient, so the number in front of a letter. So equations and identities. Equations is something we should be familiar with. So an equation uses an equal sign. You've just had one in your starter. And it's only true for certain values of the letter. So you add x again in the starter. So if we look at this one, 2x plus 3 equals 11 is an equation. We could solve that to find the value of x. So we could subtract 3 from the 11 to get 2x equals 8, and we could divide by 2 to get x equals 4. So this equation is only true when x equals 4. An identity uses an identical to sign, which is a triple bar. So you may have seen it or you may not, but if you've got 3 bars, you're working with an identity. An identity is saying that both sides are identical to each other, but just written in a different format. So they've got the same value, but they're just written in a different way. So often used in algebra, one side will be simplified different to the other side. So 2x plus 3 is identical to 3 plus 2x. There's lots of times in lessons when you've asked if it means, is my answer the same as that? And I'll say, yeah, you get 4 marks for that. It's just you've written it a different way. So you've written an identity. Okay? So 2x plus 3 would be identical to 3 plus 2x for all values of x. Okay? So x could be 10, and 2 times 10 add 3 would be the same as 3 add 2 times 10. On this slide, I would like you to decide whether they are identities or not. So you need to write true or false next to each one. So you're looking through and asking yourself, is the left side identical to the right side but just written in a different way? If they are, it's an identity. If they're not the same, if you should have a different answer to what's on the right hand side, then it's not an identity. Could you pause it now? Could you write true or false next to all of these, please? Okay, let's check, see if you've got those right. So question 1 is true, it is an identity because 3x plus 6x is identical to 9x. Question 2 is false because if you did 6y take away y, you would actually get 5y. So 6y minus y is not identical to 6. Question 3, 12a divided by 3 is identical to 4a because 12a divided by 3 would give you 4a, so that's true. Question 4, 4 plus 2b is not identical to 6b. That can't be simplified to 6b. That would have to be 4b plus 2b would be identical to 6b. So question 4 is false. Question 5, 3c plus 2c is not identical to 5c squared. It would just be identical to 5c. We could only get a c squared when we times a c by a c. So 5 is false. 6, if we'd got 5e plus f, we wouldn't get 5ef. We would only get 5ef if we have multiplied 5e by f. So 6 is false. 5e plus f can't be simplified any further. Question 7. A plus 5 is identical to 2 plus 3 plus a. It's just another way of writing it because the 2 and the 3 could make a 5. So question 7 is true. Question 8. 7ef take away 2ef is identical to 5ef. So that one is true. Right, a couple of examples to go through, please. I would like you to copy these examples down. When you're given an identity, we're not trying to find the value of x. We're trying to find the value of the coefficients. We've got to find the values of a and b. So whenever you're given brackets, my first tip would have to be multiply out your brackets. So first things first, in this one we're going to expand the 3 brackets x plus 5. So to do that, we do 3 times x to get 3x, 3 times 5 to get 15. Now we know that the left-hand side is identical to the right-hand side. So we're going to play a match-up. So the 3x would be the identical to the ax. So you should be able to look at the 3x and the ax and say, well, what number then is a? It's literally the number in front, the coefficient. So a would be 3. And b is in the same position as the plus 15. So b is 15. Okay, so we're just matching up the left-hand side with the right-hand side to work out the values of a and b. Make sure you've got that copied, please. Next example. Again, step 1 will always be to multiply out the brackets. So we're going to do 2 times 3x to get 6x, 2 times minus a to get minus 2a, and that's identical to the right side that's already done for us, bx minus 8. And again, it's a match-up process. So you can see the 6x and the bx match up. So b is 6. However, a is slightly different because it's minus 2a is in the same position as the minus 8. So minus 2a is equal to minus 8. So this is where we're solving an equation because we need to find the value of a. So to find a, we need to do divide by minus 2 because it's currently times by minus 2. So minus 8 divided by minus 2 means a is 4. Can you make sure you've got that copied, please? Okay, next example. So there's no brackets on this one, but we can do some simplifying. Okay. First of all, everything with x's on the left-hand side, so the 5x plus a, must relate to everything with the x's on the right-hand side. So 5x plus ax must be identical to 7x. So if you think back to those true or false ones, you had a couple of these. So when they've added together, it'd be the amount of x's need to total 7x's. So if I take off 5x's from both sides, I can see ax is identical to 2x, which means the a is 2. Now I'm going to do the same with the number part. Everything that is left on this side, so the plus 14 and the minus b, must be identical to the 9 on the right-hand side. So now we've got an equation to solve. We're trying to find out b. 14, take away something, has got to be the same as 9. So what do we take away from 14 to get the answer 9? B is 5. Can you make sure you've got that copied, please? Right, last example, and you should recognise this left-hand side from the starter sort of questions. So you've got to expand and simplify this left-hand side first of all. So we're going to do 2 times 2x to get 4x, 2 times 3 to get 6, 3 times 5x to get 15x, 3 times 2 to get 6, and the right-hand side is already expanded for us, so we've got ax plus b on that side. So we can do a bit of simplifying now on this side. We could put our 4x and our 15x together, and our 6 and our 6 together. So we've got 19x plus 12 is identical to ax plus b. It's very similar now to example 1, where we're just matching up the x's on the left-hand side with the x's on the right. So you can see the a is 19 and the b is 12. Can you make sure you've got that copied, please? Here are some questions I would like you to have a go at, please. Could you pause the video now and work through these questions? Can you press play when you're ready to check your answers? Let's check the answers for those then. Here they are. Can you make sure they're all marked, please? Right, just before we finish, I'd like to attempt an exam question. So it's from a GCSE exam, it's worth 3 marks. I'd like you to pause the video and have a go at this question, please, and then press play when you're ready to look at the mark scheme and see how many marks you would have scored on this GCSE question. Okay, let's have a look at the solution. So here's the solution, okay? So first mark, if you've correctly expanded your brackets and got 3ax minus 10a, so 3ax minus 10a is your first mark. So if you've multiplied out your brackets, you've got 1 mark. Then we can match up that the 3ax must be identical to the 21x on the right-hand side. So if we divide both sides by 3x, we get a equals 7, and that's your second mark. If we know a equals 7, we can bring that up to the leftover part. So we've got minus 10a on the left-hand side and the 2b on the right-hand side. So the minus 10a must be identical to the 2b. We've just worked out a is 7, so we replace that a with 7. So we're actually doing minus 10 times 7 equals 2b. So minus 70 equals 2b. We're trying to find out b, so we've got to divide by 2. Therefore, b equals minus 35. And that's your third mark. Okay, so can you give yourself a mark out of 3 on that as well, please? Make sure it's written on your work that you're going to email into your teacher. That's the end of the lesson. If you can rate your lesson red, yellow, green, purple, and how confident you feel, please take a picture of your work and send it to your teacher. Thank you very much.